My name's April Weitkamp. I'm a special ed teacher in Everett. I spent 20 years teaching life skills and have since moved to the middle school and currently work in the resource room. I shared with Sari some things that I learned initially about literacy because I went to college and graduated in the late 90s for the first time when we were in the whole word movement. And found that I never really liked that or believed that that was the best way to go. As I worked with kids with more severe needs and complex communication needs, I went through the 4 pillars of literacy as a training model and then moved into I'm going to try all of the things that I can possibly try. Spent a lot of years using ULS along with individual assigned curriculum. For many of you that are familiar with News to You, they have a complete curriculum as well. We used portions of that along with standard reading curriculum that we then used AAC to adapt so our students could give us responses. Years and years later, I read Comprehensive Literacy for All and found it the most exciting book I'd read in a very, very long time. Struggled to figure out how to implement it. Went to some trainings, one put on by SCT, so that was absolutely fabulous. In implementing CLFA, Comprehensive Literacy for All, using the curriculum that the district provides for us, which is ULS. We had to supplement it. We had some additional funding sources and got pretty good co-teaching it with a speech therapist that I worked with. Since moving to a new kind of classroom, it has just continued to reinforce what I've already learned about teaching reading. Whole Word always told us that we didn't need phonics. And even as a life skills teacher for a really long time, when I had students with complex communication needs, I thought, phonics is strange. How am I going to teach that? Kids don't necessarily do the sounds. What they hear is not how they process words or sounds sometimes. We started it using CLFA in my last year, and we found ways to use those phonics. We would make the sound, or we would find words that matched, and we had the kids use that repetition. We picked letters and we did them for an entire month within our curriculum to hit those phonetic sounds. And even in training this fall, before I started teaching 8th grade resource reading, it was reinforced again that phonics basis and using all of the different approaches, all of the different portions of literacy, repetition, comprehension, phonics, are all important and necessary components of creating successful readers. The other thing that I find is when students struggle, whether with their communication or their reading, they have skills that they develop that help them. Many of my life skills students or my moderate to severe students had specific skills that I learned with each individual kid because they are so very different. Most of my resource students have some of the best auditory retention skills I have ever seen. And so I'm going back and doing things that I learned in college or things that I learned and taught myself over the years about note-taking, about highlighting and underlining those basic skills. And I continue to find ways in which it reinforces that all the different ways that you approach literacy with those key elements will make a difference for your students.